Hello, my name is Jennifer Alvarado. I am a sophomore at the University of Portland. I am a double major in business administration and organizational communication. So I'm just going to start off with the first question, which is describe a situation where your ability to stay calm under pressure was tested. What was the situation and how did you handle it? And so I feel like pressure is just one of those things that you learn to handle the more it occurs. And for me, I feel like I put my best work and my most effort when I'm under pressure. And a situation that I can think of had actually happened recently was when I had 2 presentations, 3 exams, and 7 applications that were a mix of on-campus jobs, internships, and scholarships. And it was a really busy week for me, especially since not only did I have class, but I also had work, and it was just one of those weeks that was really stressful and overwhelming. And now that I'm in college and we're in the full swing, those types of weeks have become quite common. But I think it's just a matter of finding time to invest in each task, and it can become easy to just not do the work because it's just too much, and I try not to let myself think that way. But I think it's just a matter of, getting into a positive mindset by doing a lot of self-care. When I'm overwhelmed, I kind of like take a breath, recollect my thoughts, and then go on to complete the things that I need to get done. And, this really helps a lot with not only getting what you have to do done, but doing a good job at it. And so my second question is, can you describe a time when you showed initiative to take the lead at work or on a team project? And an example I can think of has to do with where I work now. And I am currently employed at Big Five Sporting Goods. And a lot of what I do consists of cashiering, price adjusting, merchandising, redisplaying inventory. So it's not a lot of managerial work, but it is just a lot of like housekeeping stuff that keeps the store looking presentable. And there was a recent time when my manager and a couple other sales representatives were working on this big project where we had to switch all the winter department out and kind of bring in all the baseball stuff since baseball season is coming up. And we had these truckloads of baseball pants, baseball clothes, baseballs, baseball gloves, bats, baseball cleats that all came in all at once. And we had very limited space to work with. And I just remember looking at my manager and seeing how stressed he was, especially since we had a tight deadline. Because our district manager would be coming in to look at how we displayed all the merchandise that needed to be displayed. And so I decided to kind of use my organizational skills to put my input and my say in what I thought would look best. And so my manager actually went ahead and did what I recommended. And we had a tight deadline, but we got it all done. And when my district supervisor came in, she had very little to say about the ways in which we displayed it, and she didn't have a lot of critiques. She did have a couple suggestions, but overall she said we did a good job. And I remember it was just one of those moments where I felt really proud that my idea kind of worked, and it made me really happy, and it kind of boosted my confidence, and that's something that I'm really proud of. And so my third question is, describe a time when you received negative feedback. How did you take it? What did you do with that feedback? And I can think of a recent situation that occurred with a paper that I had written for one of my organizational communication classes. And I remember putting in so much effort and so much work into this paper, and I really thought I had nailed it on the head with all the key concepts that I needed to contribute. And structurally, I thought the paper was probably one of the best I had ever written. And I remember thinking that I wanted to get feedback from my professor, just to see if she had any, which I didn't think she would, because I thought I did a good job. But when I went into her office hours, she kind of gave me some comments that I wasn't expecting and kind of caught me off guard. And so she told me that what I had written in my paper was good, but it wasn't what she was looking for. She was looking for a more personal outlook on the paper rather than, the concepts being based on the textbook, which was what I had included in my paper. But yeah, her negative feedback kind of caught me off guard. And, negative feedback is always something that I struggle with accepting. But I feel like in this situation, it really helped me realize that it can be a good thing. And if I hadn't gone to go see my professor, and if I hadn't had those feedbacks from her, I probably wouldn't have gotten a good grade on it if I had just turned it in without completing and fixing the mistakes that she said I had. And, I did a good job on the assignment. And I feel like that's just one of those examples where, I was able to kind of take that negative feedback and really work with it and follow through with what needed to be included in the paper. And so my fourth question is, how do you keep tasks organized and meet deadlines? I feel like this is just so common with people in college. I find that as young adults, we have a lot going on. Everything from work to classes to friends that we want to hang out with, to extracurricular activities we want to take part in, to clubs, and on top of that, homework. And it can become a lot, and it can get really overwhelming at times. And I find for myself personally, the best ways to keep organized along with meeting deadlines would be structuring my time and really prioritizing the things that I need to get done. Excuse me. And then for me, I tend to set goals for each task or each assignment that needs to get done. If I look ahead and think of how this assignment will benefit me later on, I feel like that adds more motivation for me to get it done. And, the sooner it gets done, the sooner I can focus on another thing that needs to get done. And, it's as much as it is about getting it done, it's also about, putting your best work out there. And I feel like finding and setting goals for each thing that I need to do really helps out in helping me do my best work. And also, I do use my planner a lot. I really use a lot of detail on my planner, and it's just kind of something that I really rely on throughout college, and it just helps me with keeping things prioritized. And yeah, I feel like that's just one of those handy tools that really helps out with organization and meeting deadlines. And so my fifth question is, tell us about a time when you have developed a partnership with someone different from you to achieve common goals or shared interests. And I feel like partner work in general can be quite challenging, especially when you're walking into a task that none of you know how to complete or how to do. And, working within groups is something that is done a lot in college, and especially in the business courses that I'm taking. And overall, I feel like I work well with others. I'm one of those people that initiates conversations and brings up questions that, kind of enforce, or not enforce, lead on to brainstorming. And I recently worked with someone that, in my organizational communication class, that was really timid and really reserved. And our assignment was to explain this entire theory in front of the class, and we only had a limited time. And so initially I kind of started off by asking questions, kind of getting to know them, and it took some time, but I was able to get through to that person, and we were able to combine our views on the theory and just kind of really work together and combine our ideas. And then we also discussed our differences on our take on the theory. And then when we presented in class, I feel like we did a good job of kind of combining our theories together and kind of making it cohesive and organized. And we did a good job of portraying it to the class. And my professor said we did a good job. And in the end, I actually developed a relationship with this partner, and we're friends, and we love to work together. And I feel like it's just one of those great examples where we kind of brought our differences together to achieve a goal. And yeah, and I just want to thank you for your time. And those are all the questions that I had. And I hope to hear from you soon. And thank you for taking the time to look at this interview.